Hey everybody, welcome back to the PixelJunkies podcast.
Hey there.
This is episode 153. I'm one of your hosts, Adam.
Hey, I'm another guy.
Oh man, it's Andrew. He came back.
Andrew's back.
He wasn't dead, just joking.
It's not like I got fired and had to move.
You got another job.
Don't joke about it, you're not Jordan. Only Jordan gets fired. Anyway.
Didn't Jordan get fired like 8 times in that company?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm Rory DC.
And I'm Aaron the Marvel Bishop.
Oh God.
Because Jordan stopped doing that.
Yeah.
Not anymore.
What are we playing today? Is this Mass Effect?
Yep.
Is it Star Citizen?
I mean, it could, but it's not. It's just Space Engine.
Oh.
So what is this game?
Well, it's kind of not really
How many
a game.
points do I get for killing cops?
I mean, if you can find them, probably a whole bunch.
Okay, well,
Yeah, probably. Andrew, you found cops in Space Engine.
Yeah. It's basically just, I mean, it's the whole universe in some sort of thing that you can just explore and look at stuff.
Alright, so in order to wrap this up as quickly as possible, go to the center of the galaxy, go to a supernova,
galaxy.
go to the edge of the universe, we're done.
To wrap it up.
Yeah.
I think he's making a No Man's Sky joke.
We got an hour to kill here. So let's not...
Jesus, it's only the wonder of the universe. Jesus Christ.
Wow.
It's fucking fucking awful. Look at this.
It's awful. Well, I mean, we can keep you intrigued. Let's do Sagittarius A, which is the center of the galaxy.
So any of you guys ever been to space?
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we're in space right now.
Go to Vegetarius.
Hey, if I remember correctly,
that's a good name for
Aaron,
a strip club.
correct me on my.
That's a great name for a strip club.
A space-themed strip club.
Black holes are supposed to be black, Aaron. There we go.
This is the accretion disk.
I'll accretion your disc.
All right, well, I'm waiting. Anyway, there she is.
Oh look!
Oh man, where's
Aaron,
Kip Thorne at?
Go back a little bit forward.
Go back.
Forward, just a little bit more.
Okay,
back a little bit. Back. Okay, there's Matthew McConaughey.
No, that was Gargantua, Adam.
Oh,
you
well,
idiot.
Jesus Christ, Aaron! He could have come out this one.
Can
You
you go to Gargantua?
I don't think it's real.
Well, I've been
You're just like Coop. You've been
misinformed.
Well, it might be real, but we don't know where the wormhole in Interstellar went. So it's probably out there somewhere, but I don't know
Damn
where
you,
the hell it is.
Christopher Nolan.
You ruined that just like you ruined Batman.
You ruined space.
Yeah. Doing it again, putting NASA in the red.
You know who may not ruin space, though?
Elon Musk.
Well, yes, potentially. There's always a chance he could turn into a Lex Luthor villain.
Is it Jon Favreau?
It is.
Okay.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
He did invent Iron Man.
So
Is it Adam Sucks Mud Nuggets?
John
Made his way on
Favreau
the
was
topic
selected to
Go away, Cortana.
to write and executive produce the new Star Wars live action series, which will be airing on Disney's streaming service.
This is good and bad news.
Who's excited?
I'm not, because we're not going to be able to watch it.
Oh yeah, I bet it's not going to be available in Canada.
Yeah,
because
because that's exactly what's going to happen. There's going to be like,
God.
who wants to buy the new Disney streaming service so you can get access to the Star Wars TV show? Me, I do. I want that. And Disney's like, okay, well, here you go. It's $40 a month. Well, it seems high, but okay. All right, can I watch the Star Wars now? Not only available in America.
Sweet.
John Favreau's an interesting choice. So I was actually...
What has he done recently that's any good?
Iron Book? Jungle Book. The Jungle Book.
Yes.
Also known by its German name, the Iron Book.
Yeah.
Remember when the Panzer divisions drove their way into the forest of India to find the man-child or the man-cub? Sorry.
I remember
They put Mowgli in a
concentration camp.
I was reading an article in Variety that was just talking about like the
What Disney would have wanted.
fan reaction to Jon Favreau getting this job, right?
Yeah.
There's some positive, some negative, and what really interested me about it is like someone like who I know of, like a guy who did his undergrad at the same time I did my undergrad. His like tweet was sitting there. They like featured his tweet. And I was like,
nice.
Is he popular on Twitter or something? I went on Twitter and no, he's not. And he didn't use any hashtags in it. I was like, how the fuck did they find this tweet? It's just like, for all intents and purposes, a random dude.
Awesome.
But yeah, so I don't know. I'm excited. I mean, Star Wars things can be cool.
Yeah. Wait, did he make Iron Man 3?
No.
No, he made Iron Man 2,
I think
which
Shane
is worse.
Black did 3, didn't it? Didn't he?
Yeah, Shane Black was Iron Man 3. Aaron's right.
Yeah, okay.
Something I'm
was
less
Iron
excited
Man
for this
2.
movie.
No, I like Shane Black, but he
Me too.
ruined the end of that movie.
I mean, how much was his control? Like,
Yeah.
Did
true
he
enough.
write it?
True enough.
Aaron
What are you
managed to
doing,
find the
Aaron?
tape. I'm having a drink, Aaron. My throat's sore.
I think you're making out with your
Fuck's
hand
sake.
over there. Your throat is sore. Oh, that's why Adam was all salty.
No drinking allowed.
But yeah, I mean, obviously, like we said, like you know, Jon Favreau is the news part of this, but like the real part that will stand out is the fact that this is on Disney's streaming service.
So it begins.
So we'll see if it's available in Canada. I will get it just to test it out because I get all of them because that's just
the sequel to or the follow up to Rebels, whatever that is going to be, because Star Wars Rebels ended this week actually in a very I don't want to get into it for spoilers, but I thought it ended well. It wasn't
Empire
the best
loses.
TV ending ever, but it was actually it was pretty good for a kids show. It wrapped things up nicely. It was a much better ending than the one that Clone Wars got, which was we didn't get an ending.
Yeah.
It was pretty good. Couple of minor flaws, but on the whole, really good. But people are wondering what the next series is going to be. You know, if it's going to kind of follow along and pick up some characters from Rebels, like during the time. A lot of people think it's going to help fill in the gap between episodes 6 and 7. I think they're correct, but it's probably going to be on Disney's streaming service. In fact, it almost certainly is.
yeah. It's almost
I'd be very
guaranteed.
surprised if it wasn't.
Yeah, a lot of stuff will be. I mean, hell, all that Fox shit they own now is going to be on there, presumably. That's a lot of fucking shows, man.
I really shouldn't have, but my mind immediately went to
Firefly?
No, to Fox Hound. All that Fox shit they own. I'm like, is Disney on Metal Gear? No, they don't. No. He's talking about the studio.
Yeah.
I mean, they're never going to do
What
anything
about
with Firefly.
What about the Fox and the Hound? Now, there is a property Disney has
But to be fair,
can do something with.
to
They
be
already
fair,
have
no
it,
one was
though.
going to do anything with Firefly.
Speaking of Firefly, that's something I hope this new live-action show comes close to in terms of scope of story.
I agree with you 10,000%.
Jesus.
Because I was talking to Aaron about this yesterday, and it would be cool to have a Star Wars story not be about these huge universe-changing events.
It was what I would hope
Yeah.
Rogue One was before we knew anything about it. I was like, oh, is this going to be a smaller scale? And Rogue One was cool, don't get me wrong.
It kind of is small scale, though.
Yeah.
But
Like, we know it's not because of the events that preceded it or preclude.
Succeed.
Succeeded it.
yeah,
But the movie itself was kind of small.
well, I mean, it definitely had a smaller scope, but I would like a totally smaller scale Star Wars adventure, kind of.
Yeah.
More like, you know...
I want 1313. We're not going to get that.
Yeah.
But I've said a couple times in the show, what would be awesome would be to have a Boba Fett movie that was portrayed totally as a Western. And you could just, instead of it being, Boba Fett has to find the plan, the rebel plans for the Death Star and give it to them, for the second Death Star, and he kills all the Bothans, which, fuck, I'm just giving them ideas at this point. Boba Fett's the one who kills all those Bothans. It's just Boba Fett just out finding one guy. Happens to take place in the Star Wars universe, but it's just, this could be any... If you were to change the name from Boba Fett to somebody else, it, could
yeah,
be,
exactly.
So there's, recognizable, locations
There was
and,
Rogue
and
2 at.
species and stuff, but they're never, it won't be like, oh, Boba Fett has just defeated Darth Vader and saved the entire galaxy.
Yeah, I agree. And, yeah, so it'll be interesting. Obviously, we don't have anything approaching information yet because they don't have anything yet to show us. But, yeah, so I'll be interested to see what they do. What else we got?
Apparently Adam sucks mud nuggets. I don't know what that means.
Well, I think it's just a general update.
Okay. So I think one of the biggest things that
It
came
was
out...
newsworthy. We had 153 episodes.
Only now did they find out my obsession with sucking nuggets made of mud.
Hey, Adam, answer me this. Have you seen the White House video game montage
When you go into those segues, do you know how they're going to end, or do you just kind of like wing it?
No, they're very carefully planned, Adam. You could tell that they.
Is that the moon?
No, that's Enceladus. I can go to the moon now.
Duh.
Yeah, you idiot.
Yeah. Only looks exactly like the moon in every way.
Get back to your mud nuggets.
Yeah.
There we go. Can we go to the scene serendipity?
To what?
Adam has seen the video, Andrew. In fact, he was the one who told me about it because I haven't seen it.
So what this is, if you've been living under a rock recently, America had, a couple of weeks ago, there was a very tragic shooting in Florida in which I believe 17 kids were killed. Because some guy walked into a school with a firearm that's been modified to fire fully automatic and shot a bunch of kids. And that triggered a new round of debates for gun control with many of the kids in the school and a lot of the parents and a lot of sensible people being like, can we talk about sensible gun control law now? And Trump immediately was like, you know what caused this? Video games. Violence in video games. That's the real root of this evil. And everyone was like, really? Again with this. So today, he's been going back and forth on this issue. He suggested to people, why don't violent movies have a ratings board to tell parents, whether the movies are acceptable for children to watch. And everyone was like,
brilliant.
It's a real good idea, Trump. We have this, actually. This
Not only do we have it, we have, vernacular that's based on it, saying something is, R-rated.
Yeah.
Is like a...
That's a thing.
It's a colloquialism now.
Yeah, there's knock-knock jokes made about it.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Why couldn't the pirate go see the movie?
Because he was not old enough.
Because it was rated R.
Now, see, I would think that would mean it was for the pirate.
Yeah, that's a good point, Adam.
So,
Andrew.
I didn't make up the joke. The White House today released on their YouTube channel, which they do have a YouTube channel. They show a lot of press releases and stuff. If you're interested in politics, it's there. It's a good resource. But they released today a montage of video games that showcased extreme violence.
But missed most of the big candidates.
Yes, so they showed
showcasing extreme violence.
Andrew, have you seen this montage?
No.
Okay, so you're working at the White House.
Yep.
You're making a montage to illustrate the evils and violence of video games.
Yeah.
What's the number one game you put on there? The first one.
Space Engine.
Evils in video game?
Violence in video game. What's the first one to depict graphic violence in video game?
Depict graphic violence in a video game.
Yeah, what's the big video game that got all the controversy?
Star Wars Battlefront 2.
No. Work with me. Just don't be an ass. Just work with me on this hypothetical situation.
Grand Theft Auto.
Yes, that was not there.
Why not?
When Adam asked me this, I said Doom. He was like,
Doom is also not there. Dead
Space
Space is not there. Mortal Kombat is not there. Gears of War is not there. So first off, as a gamer, God of War isn't there. There's a lot of big games there that are hyper violent.
A lot of good games that aren't there. Those are all good games.
Oh yeah, those are great games.
And
I'm offended as a gamer that you didn't pick some of the best games out there for your montage.
It's kind of offensive. It's like you put all this work in Doom into making it extra violent, and these fucking morons don't even pick it for their stupid goddamn video.
Yeah. So the games that were included were Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 and I believe Modern Warfare 3. Because there's a scene in that game where some guy named Mason is getting the shit kicked out of him by Spetsnaz, and I think that's Modern Warfare 3.
Mason? No, that's Black Ops.
Does he get the shit kicked out of him by Spetsnaz in that game?
Yes.
Every single action hero ever has a Mason in their name.
Yeah, it's awful. Alex Mason, I believe is his name, wasn't it? Anyway. Yeah. They showed from Call of Duty 2. They showed for Call of Duty Black Ops, I believe the only scene they showed was him getting tortured by Russians.
What the hell is this?
In Call of Duty 2, they showed the scene in the favela.
Modern Warfare 2. Not Call of Duty 2.
Yeah, Modern Warfare 2. They showed the scene in the favela where your driver gets shot and blood splatters on the dash. They show you and Price killing a guy. Which I would like to remind out, if he was not an American soldier, he was, I think, a mercenary that they were killing, but whatever. And they showed, obviously, no Russian, that part in the airport, which, I mean, fair enough.
As I mentioned to Adam, none of the people watching this are going to know what's happening, what the context is, and they're definitely going to think that scene in the favelas is Mexico.
Yeah.
They're definitely going to think that's Mexico. Right? This is just a bunch of Americans watching this.
They showed what's that 4v1 horror inspired multiplayer game where he plays like a serial killer? Is that
I thought it was Dead by Daylight, but I
is
couldn't
it Dead by Daylight?
Yeah.
Yeah, so they showed some Dead by Daylight. They showed
which is said was a cheap shot because horror games are supposed to be violent, just like horror movies.
Yeah. They showed a scene of the guys, sticking the police officer up onto a spike, and they showed another one of him just axing a girl in the face.
Suffice to say, the video is a big piece of shit, and they did a bad job.
No, I'm going through the whole thing, Rory. Fuck off.
Oh, do you mean Friday the 13th?
They might have also showed the new Friday the 13th game. What else did they show? They showed
Sniper
Fallout 4,
Elite, and then
which is weird. They showed Sniper Elite and Wolfenstein, both of which I find very odd because you're killing Nazis in that game. And from my understanding, it's okay to feed Nazis through a stump grinder, and nobody was going to bat an eye. It was like, yeah, this is where they belong, right in there in that stump grinder. You can Steve Buscemi that shit. The whole thing is don't let anybody fool you. Of the many studies that have been done about violence in video games and violence in media, and that causing violence in youth or in people, especially in youth, there has in the many studies that I've seen, there have been no causal links or even correlative links between violence in media and violent tendencies in people.
To be fair, even if there were causal or correlative links, it doesn't, which there can only really be correlative because it's almost impossible to do a causal lab experiment on this.
Yes.
It is impossible. That's not getting past any ethics boards. It doesn't matter. Lots of things that we do aren't, optimally healthy for us. Like, we should all be doing yoga right now and eating leaves, but we're not. And because we're reasonable people, we can make decisions for our own lives, just like everyone who plays video games. Even if video games make you more angry and make you more predisposed to violence, let's just fucking say it's true. Who gives a shit? It's like lots of stuff makes you angry, you know what I mean? Yeah. It's like we live our lives with acceptable risks.
But not only that, it completely ignores cases like what's the term I'm looking for? There's a little tiny
outliers.
Place called,
what?
No.
You're talking about Japan.
There's a place in the world. There's a place somewhere where they don't have they have violent video games and there's no actual gun violence.
Japan.
No, it's everywhere. Everywhere else.
Oh well, but especially
Japan, especially Canada. Especially England.
Yeah, but I mean,
Australia.
There's way less Japan is no gun violence, and it's the capital of video games in the world.
And so but the one thing that all of these countries share or do not share, with America is the amount of guns and the easy access to guns.
Well, that's one of the things they don't share. They also don't share American culture, though.
Yeah, well, and
an American attitude.
Well, there's also that. But that goes hand in hand with the easy access to guns. The reason there's an easy access to guns is because it's a completely different culture. That's the problem with this issue. It's not the violent video games. It's the culture and it's the access to firearms. And anybody telling you otherwise is lying. They're lying. That's it. That's it. You're being lied to.
Why should they have to get rid of their guns if they haven't committed murder at them?
I'm not getting into a gun control debate. Don't even attempt to drag me into it.
I don't even think there's any need to bring gun control into it, though. It's not video games, and not
only that, but video games are protected under the First Amendment for free speech. I believe in 2001.
Well, to be fair, if we're bringing constitutional stuff into it, we shouldn't, because
no, but I'm saying they're talking. People have talked about banning all video games, and you can't. Because they're protected by, just as guns are protected by the Second Amendment, video games are now protected under the First Amendment. But that's a whole other debate. Regardless, the point I'm trying to make is it's not video games that's the problem.
Oh yeah,
it never was and it never will be. So, also when the White House was having their debate about this issue, they brought in members of the from the industry. So I think the CEO of Bethesda, and I think the CEO of Rockstar ended up there, and a couple of others. They brought in some Republican delegates, and they brought in some anti-video game people, some anti-video game kind of spokespeople.
Yeah.
They didn't bring in any Democrats, and they didn't bring in any researchers that have done any research on this issue.
Let's face it, the only people who should have been brought in are a bunch of psychologists who study this thing.
Yes.
That's the only people worth talking to.
Yep.
Todd Howard or some anti-video game person are not worth talking to about this. You know what I mean? Like, what do they know about
Todd Howard is anti-video game. Well, I guess he is.
No, I'm saying Todd Howard or some like you could bring in someone who's pro-video game or someone who's anti-video game.
Let's be honest, Todd Howard's
matter.
pretty anti-video game.
I don't get America, man. I don't get it.
Nobody gets America. They're fucking cracked out of their mind.
Anyways, what else do we
we're
have?
moving on from the politics.
If Jesus had an M4, those dang Mexicans never would have strung his ass up.
They probably wouldn't. Good Christian white boy like him. Nintendo had their March Direct.
Yes, sir.
A couple of stuff that was announced. They're bringing in a Solaire from Dark Souls amiibo for Dark Souls coming out on Switch. Which,
Jordan put his dick in that?
Yep. Praise the sun. Praise the dick.
I feel like you might have to explain.
Okay, so sorry. When we were talking years ago about the Mario amiibo, I guess Jordan didn't know what the fuck an amiibo was.
His immediate
response was, "Can I put my dick in that?"
You can only fuck it.
You can only. Oh, Andrew wasn't here for that. Damn it.
Well, we're not getting into.
Okay, yeah, that's too much. That's later.
It's too deep.
Jesus. One of the announcements is that Dark Souls is coming out for Switch, although I think we knew that for a while. And then what also is coming out around the same time as Dark Souls for Switch is Dark Souls HD. So the Switch is getting the original.
Dark Souls already HD?
Yes.
No, I mean like an updated HD.
HD for Switch.
Why?
Like
why?
It's
now
such a modern game.
480p.
Yeah, but it actually looks like dog shit if you go back and play it now. I think what they're doing is adding in better textures and lighting to the game.
Well, it's not HD then.
But what I find interesting is the Switch is, I believe, getting the original version, and we're getting the update anyway.
Yeah. Do you think the Switch can run the updated version?
No, it can't. that's why I'm saying.
That's switching like 480p.
So
scale to 1080.
The other thing that they announced, which is the big one, is they had a teaser trailer for Super Smash Bros. For the Switch.
Is that a new game, or is it the same game that came out? But
at least that game makes sense for the Switch.
Okay.
So in the trailer, you saw Link and Mario,
and a bunch of Splatoon characters,
and some Splatoon characters, and then a bunch of characters in the background that are kind of, you can't really see them, but they're there. You can see their outlines, their silhouettes, and so there's been a lot of speculation about who's going to be in this game. I mean, obviously, characters like Donkey Kong and Pikachu and Kirby and Fox are all going to be in it because they've been in it since the beginning.
Yeah.
This lends really well to something else. Something else might be relevant on the topic list. They've announced that Geralt was going to make an appearance in an upcoming game.
Oh, Smash Bros.
So a lot of people said Soul Calibur.
Yeah, that would probably be my guess.
Oh, that would be better, but wouldn't that be the ultimate in sacrilege if he was on in this game?
Speaking of games getting announcements, another game was announced this week. It's not on the topic list, but I just remembered it. Division 2 got announced, although more will be coming at E3, and I'm assuming we'll learn more about Smash Bros. Switch at E3 as well. Literally, all we know is that the Division 2 exists.
Isn't the Division 1 an MMO?
Yeah.
Yes.
Why are they releasing a 2?
I don't know. What they should have done is they should have used the World of Warcraft model and just released...
It has a definitive story. They could have expanded
World of Warcraft.
I'm just saying they could have done a few more expansions and maybe not go as long as World of Warcraft went.
Well,
which is to say, it's still going.
Yeah,
but
it's not so much an MMO as it is Destiny.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe I don't understand it. I just heard it was an MMO. I've never played it.
It's not an MMO. I don't really know what constitutes as an MMO because the bulk of the game you play by yourself unless you opt to have people with you. It's like a co-op game.
It's a fake MMO looter shooter.
If it's a looter shooter, it makes sense that there'd be a second.
Did we make that term up?
No.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I said it. I had never heard it before. But anyway.
No, you didn't make it up.
I assume the next game will take place on the rest of Manhattan, which is going to be like a much bigger war zone than the first game. They could have just made that an expansion, I guess, but I think it constitutes a new game if they're going to add that much.
I don't understand the setting of the Division. because I was walking down the streets of New York and people were shooting at me and there was like trash everywhere and I'm like, this is just how I remember New York City.
Just regular
kid.
New York.
Wow, this is the most realistic game they've ever made.
Yeah, this is just a New York walking simulator. Complete with shooting, immigrants
Yeah.
and minority groups. So yeah, I guess look forward to those two games coming out. I honestly don't like The Division. I've played, and yes, I have played a lot of it. If you're going for a Ubisoft-made kind of multiplayer co-op experience,
Why do you not like
Ghost
The
Recon.
Division, but you like Destiny?
Well, I'm not as big as into
Because you don't get shot
Destiny,
at by minorities in Destiny.
Well, it's not just that. Do you want me to get into it?
Yes,
Okay.
get into it.
Okay, so I want to preface this by saying that was a very bright star. I want to preface this by saying that Destiny 2 has done a lot to kind of end my interest in the Destiny franchise. Because I thought Destiny 1 is a flawed game, but is flawed in many ways, but the gameplay is very good. If they can improve on all the other aspects for Destiny 2, then you have yourself a good game. And they kind of did that, and then they started dicking people around. So, putting that aside, the reason I prefer Destiny to The Division is because at least the setting in Destiny is a bit more interesting than Division, as are the enemies. Now, you only have 4 enemy types and 4 factions, so it's not that much variety. But when I'm shooting an ancient robot in the head and he's not dying right away, I feel better than in this realistic styled game where I'm shooting a unarmed teenager in the head with an with an M4 or an AR-15 or whatever you want to call it, and he's not going down. It takes 4 shots to the head to take this guy down. I'm like, man, that must have been eating all of his greens. He's shrugging off these rounds like nothing. He's really powerful. That's one of them. I don't like the. I feel like Destiny's gameplay. And this is more of a preference thing, but I think that Destiny's gameplay is more akin to how I like to play shooters, where it's very much, Destiny is very much a movement-based game. It's a lot like Doom, except a little less so, but it's very much like this. These are, you have to move around in order to, get an advantage enemy. You're constantly moving, gliding, jumping, running, sliding, that sort of stuff, moving and shooting. Mm-hmm. Whereas Destiny, you're hunkering down behind the wall and shooting, and that's all right. People have been doing third-person cover-based shooters for a while, but I don't think Destiny does anything else to draw me into the gameplay. It's just a third-person cover-based shooter, whereas Mass Effect had a great story and great characters, and that The Division doesn't. And I also think that the hardness in the game is not implemented well, where characters when the bosses come out, they're just bullet sponges that take off your health immediately. It's just they can take a lot of damage and they can throw out a lot of damage. And they can. It's
like when Jordan tried to play Halo, is what it sounds like.
Well, yeah, I guess, but the problem is with that is I'm not
it.
terrible at this game, and I'm not whining about it for that reason. I'm not. How do I put this? It's not that The Division is. I just think that The Division needs some tweaking. Where you can say that it's not what hard enemies are, enemies that can take damage and dish out more. Yes, but the amount of damage that you take is absurd, and the game puts you in a lot of very unfair situations. Me and Sandy were playing it, and we're in this this arena. There's a guy. There's the bosses across the way, and he's very powerful. And there's guys rushing us with shotguns that force us out of cover. This is good gameplay because it causes us to move from cover to cover. Because you're like, oh, I got to stay in cover, but I got to go away from the shotgun guys.
Yeah.
But as soon as you move out of cover, the boss hits you immediately and takes all your health down. And I mean immediately. It's not like, oh, you have a chance to get back into cover. As soon as you pop out, your health is all gone in 1 or 2 shots. And it's not like we were under leveled. That's
seamless.
It's just a river. Just a river.
There she goes.
And that's a problem. Whereas in Gears of War, you have if you pop out of cover, you're going to take a few hits, but you're not going down immediately. So you can put your arm up and shoot blindly, or you can back up and get into cover so you're a bit further away from the action, or you can move to a different bit of cover to get an advantageous position, and you're not getting punished for that. the Division punishes you for moving from cover, so you're literally just stuck plinking away at bad guys in one bit of cover. There's no movement, allowed, especially for these boss characters. Many of which force you to move and then unfairly punish you for doing that. Yeah, so that's it. Also, the game isn't very the loot. I didn't find the loot impressive at all. At least in Destiny, when you pick up like exotic weapons and armor, they look cool. Whereas in the Division, you're picking up like sweatshirts, which is
those aren't exotic weapons. Exotic weapons are different. Those are just cosmetic items.
okay. Well, then what are yeah? But what I'm saying is, and this comes from the setting, I know, but like the exotic the exotic weapons in Destiny are still a Scar H, which is it's fine. But when you're getting an exotic weapon in Destiny, it at least it makes your character look a bit more interesting and dynamic, as opposed to.
I agree on that front. The part of the Division that I like is that it's a very realistic possible future. Like in terms of the setting and the story.
Yes.
It's very realistic. The gameplay less so. I didn't find it as difficult as you're talking about, but I also found that the game is harder in groups. I guess because they
does it
want
not
you to
sound like you like the exact same things about those respective games, though. You both have the exact same problems with the Division, but the things you like about the Division are the same things Adam likes about Destiny.
Yeah, but the thing that I dislike about Destiny is it's kind of just like I like that the Division is grounded. Like it's a thing that I can get attached to because it's our world. Whereas Destiny is kind of just a fictional, could kind of be generic if you don't flesh it out enough.
That's why I mean. You literally have mirror problems with those games.
Yeah.
Like,
and I will say, the Division actually has a really cool premise. I really like the premise. It's very well thought out. But Yahtzee, posed this question about a different game, so I'm raising about this one. Why MMO? Why couldn't this have just been another third-person shooter with a stronger story?
Good point.
So there's no, the loot is scaled to an individual player's experience. You're able to better control
How
levels.
about take out leveling
I
altogether
agree,
and make it a super hyper realistic?
While I
do
agree,
that.
I think that could be said for a large portion of MMOs.
Oh yeah, I mean the only MMO that I can really think of that can't do that is literally World of Warcraft.
Yeah, but I think MMOs by their nature, it's the point of it is. It's not. They're not MMOs because being an MMO served the story, because it never serves the story.
They're an MMO because they can make way more money.
Let's say it's a design choice. Let's go value neutral and say it's a design choice.
Yeah.
Right?
It kind of is though. Like it's not a money making thing in the Division until you get to the very, very end of the end game, where you can actually spend money on stuff, and even then, it's just cosmetic items that you can get without actually spending money pretty easily, if I'm honest.
But like when you look at MMO, like other MMOs, like, and we're using MMO just because it is a massive multiplayer game, like EVE or World of Warcraft, which are kind of like two of the bigger ones.
Yeah.
In those games, those are games that are very much driven by, and to a lesser extent because it hasn't got it doesn't have as much time out as these other games, Elite Dangerous. These are games that are driven by player choice. That's probably my favorite thing about Elite is that it's the community is extremely strong, toxic in many ways, yes, but I mean that's just video games. But they are instrumental in shaping how the world progresses. There's the amount of times that you told me about shit that the community has done in that game, Aaron, that I thought is really cool. Like it's just blown me away. I was like, oh my god, that's so cool. They did that. That's something that wasn't like the writers like I'm doing this. That was the community did that. Yeah. That's awesome. And there's a really good example called the Foundry Wars, I believe, in EVE, where like tens of thousands of players got involved in this month-long war for the area of space. Like there's YouTube videos about it. I highly recommend you check it out. But stuff like that is interesting, and you don't get that in both the Division and with Destiny. I mean, I'm not trying to defend Destiny here. There's a lot of problems with that game, especially with the second one. And in fact, Destiny is probably my biggest disappointment ever in terms of video games because I can see hints of this original story that Jason, what's his name, the writer for Halo, is it Jason Bateman?
No,
it's like Staten. Jason Staten wrote for that. You can see the original theory. I'm like, this is really good stuff. This is like on par with some of Halo's lore, and I wonder what would have happened had Activision not gotten their claws into it, or had Bungie not been really, really greedy about it, because I really don't know how the development of this game went. I've done a lot of research, and now I'm going to lay the blame squarely on both of them
They both deserve it.
They both deserve it.
I think it's legitimate. I don't even think that'd be a controversial opinion.
Yeah. So Disney, and that's the problem with Disney. Where like the Division, I can't get. I'm not super angry about it. Like, do I regret buying it? No. It's fine. It is what it is. But
the Division didn't lie to anybody about what it was and what it was going to be.
They definitely made the game they wanted to make.
They made the game they wanted to make. There was no deception involved in the Division.
They lied a little bit. Not much.
I still think they ended up making what they wanted. It's not. I think it's a type of gameplay that caters to only some people.
Yes, and I'll give you that. And I'm definitely not I'm not the audience for the Division.
I don't think it's compromised. They could have made something better. I guess that's all really relative. I enjoy like the kind of, and it's not really this way in the Division, but the kind of collect them all type of scenario, and you don't really get that with Ghost Recon Wildlands, which is very much the bookend of the Division. It's like the same game engine, same gameplay for the most part, except it's very realistic, and you just pick up a gun and shoot a guy with it, and they die in one shot, more or less. So
I it's fun as balls to play with friends, though.
It's fun, and it's very tactical, and I enjoy that. But I also like the Division in getting new gear and upgrading stuff, and it's not realistic, but it's still fun. So.
Yeah, and I get that, but and I do, because that was one of the reasons I like Destiny, is I like getting new gear and upgrading it. Yeah. But the problem, the issue I have with the Division is I don't find any of the gear interesting.
Yeah,
because it's just sweatshirts and Scar H's.
Yeah, and it felt very much like that early on, but as you get further in, it becomes less about like getting a new gun and just like upgrading stuff.
Yeah, fair enough.
But anyway, it's not for everybody.
I didn't like the character creation. It's
very basic.
Yeah, they could have done a lot more. And that's a problem that Destiny also has.
I'm finding peculiar, like there's a lot of games now seem to have peculiarly limited options for character creation, like not much more than we had like playing Tony Hawk Underground back in the day. You know what I mean?
It's weird to have a step back in that regard.
It is weird, isn't it? Yeah.
And I can tell you how bad it's gotten, because when I started to play Monster Hunter, which I'm still making my way through slowly. It's one of those games I'm picking up and putting down. It's when you make a character in that game, there's a lot of options, and I'm like, oh shit, this is what it's like making a character and actually having the ability to make your own character.
I heard that has a really good creator.
So I made two characters. I made a female who looks kind of like I modeled her after my D&D character, and I made a guy who's this old grizzled bastard with a beard and like I don't know what the style is, but the Japanese kind of ponytail with like
the top knot.
It's not a top knot. Well, it is, but it's the one with like it's the one with like a tall. It like comes up in like it's almost like a stick. The hair's inside.
Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah.
And he looks like an old grizzled bastard, and he got an eye patch and stuff, and refreshingly, that's something that game or not eye patch, a scar. That's one of the things I really liked about Ghost Recon. Is that it gives you a chance to equip your character with an eye patch. Very few games, I can't think of a single game outside of a pirate game that lets you have an eye patch.
I think Tekken has an eye patch.
Great, good for Tekken.
Which actually, to
put it on the bear.
Help
that doesn't count.
To help calm. How does that not count?
Tekken.
Okay, that wasn't an explanation for how it didn't count.
You can get eye patches in Skyrim modded.
Yes, but I'm not counting mods.
You can get anything in Skyrim modded. But like,
I can get steamed hands.
To temper the thing on Tekken 7 being able to have eye patches, there are very few. One of the things that bothers me about Tekken 7 customizations is it's very hard to make your character not look stupid. It's like you can customize your character with a shower head. It's like sick. Can I give them a normal haircut? Nope. Okay, cool.
Can you go to the edge of the universe?
The edge of the universe?
Yeah.
What else we got?
Kingdom Come Deliverance. Hey, Aaron.
How's it going?
Are those all galaxies?
Yep.
Jesus.
Have you ever played a game? A little game.
I saw an alien. Aaron, you missed it.
It's gone out.
A little game that some people know as Kingdom Come Deliverance.
It does look like a series of neurons.
I have heard a tale or two about a Kingdom Come Deliverance.
Are you aware that the patch 1.3 is out?
Yep, because I told you earlier.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I was like, I think Aaron sent that message.
Yeah.
Why did he bring you back? That's all you're gonna contribute.
So
we made him quit his job.
What did they get in that 5 gigs, Aaron?
I missed you.
A bunch of fixes. The key, which is they fixed the save system, which apparently is a save and exit feature now. I don't know if that means you need to save and exit in order to.
I think it just creates an autosave when you exit the game.
Okay,
It's like survival mode in Fallout 4.
Which is good, because that was one of the problems I had with the game, was if I want to quit and I have no idea if there was a checkpoint in the last 2 hours.
Yeah. I will still use the mod to just let me save whenever I want.
Yes.
Because screw repeating things.
It allows experimentation, and that's kind of the fun part about a lot of those games.
You know, when you're looking... I know we're in the middle of something,
Oh my God.
It does, when scientists say there are more stars in space than there are grains of sand on Earth, you're like, that's absurd. And then you look at something like this where that's not stars, that's galaxies with billions of stars in them whizzing by. And that, fuck.
Those are galaxies, Aaron?
Yeah.
Oh.
These are all individually galaxies.
Space is
Now,
massive.
some of them are dwarf galaxies and just dust, but for the most part, they're galaxies.
Dust and echoes?
Let's zoom in on one of these dots here and see what it looks like. There we go. Oh, there she is. So they adjusted a lot of the other things that people had issues with, like the lock picking and that sort of thing. A lot of it is easier now. I think they fixed the pickpocketing as well.
Pickpocketing and lock picking are both
I was going to crash.
reconfigured.
It crashes a lot.
Oh.
Damn.
Wow.
I was opening that again.
Wow, what cool font.
Ugh, yeah. Jesus.
Ugh. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to trying out the new stuff. Hopefully they mentioned a bunch of other fixes that they didn't really outline, which I
over
assume,
300 bug fixes in the patch.
Wow, they had a lot of bugs in that game.
Yeah, and
those are the only ones they found as well.
They've reworked. They say they've fixed a lot of the pop-in.
Which is good.
Issues.
And you have doubts
Jesus.
or something? The way you phrase that? You're like, they say they've fixed the pop-in.
Well, I haven't played it since this patch came out.
Yeah.
We gotta scroll all the way out again.
I talk a lot of shit, but like, you should fix bugs. Like, it's good that they're doing.
Can you just type in Edge of the Galaxy or Edge of the Universe?
No, let's just click on this one and go. No, damn it. Whatever. I mean, there's probably something. Oh, Jesus. There's probably something that is close to the edge of the galaxy. We could type it in. But
if you're making a game where you can explore all of space, a default option should be the end of the edge of the universe.
The edge of space.
Because players don't want to go to that.
They don't want to show you where they stopped working.
They got lazy.
Edge of space.
What's really amazing is they did all these. They had to texture all these by hand.
Yeah.
They've been working on this for 400,000 years.
You think they got 200 years in? It's like, okay, John, we got a new system of planets. How many are going to be rocky worlds? How many are going to be? I don't fucking care. Do whatever you want. Make them gumdrops. Move on to the next one. Quit asking me.
We're at the edge.
Are we?
Yeah. Well, there's nothing that way, so here you go.
Oh, spooky. What are these red lights?
Well, they're red because you can't really see
shifting.
Yeah.
Can you imagine living on...
Thank you, astrophysics course. I know I fell asleep in you a lot, but...
Can you imagine, living on a planet here and seeing, obviously...
Nothing on one side of the sky and then everything on the other.
Obviously the reason that we're seeing nothing is because that's where light ends. Like, that's the oldest light ever reaching us, so we don't know what's beyond that because the light isn't old enough to get to us yet. But... let's say, theoretically, that's literally the edge of the universe and there's nothing afterwards. And just living on that fucking rock and being like, the hell's over here? And just looking at, nothing. Like, should we go that way? No, John, we shouldn't go that way.
Do you believe in life on other planets?
After love?
I also thought you were going to be with after love.
Do you believe in life after love?
Yeah. I believe in things are strong enough. I can't remember the lyrics of the song. God damn it.
All the way at the edge of the universe,
You
and we
haven't
still
answered
got
this
to.
question.
Do I believe in life on other planets?
Sure.
I think that statistically speaking, it's far more likely. It is almost a statistical impossibility for there not to be life on other planets. Keep in mind, what we were scrolling through all there was not stars, but galaxies containing billions of stars themselves. On one of those, so there's an almost innumerable, a quintillion number of galaxies that each have a billion stars in them. On one of those fucking rocks, there has to be something approaching life similar to Earth, right?
Yes.
Even in our own galaxy, there's hundreds of billions. I think I calculated once where it's like, I think
You calculated? Why didn't you just look it up?
because I couldn't find it, so I had to calculate it. Based on the number of, keep in mind it's a very rough calculation, but based on the number of stars that are estimated in the galaxy, and the number of estimated worlds that are supposed to be on those, and the estimated number of planets that are kind of within traditional Earth-defined life-giving zones, there's something like 50 million planets that can support life in this galaxy alone.
Yeah, I mean, even just from here, we know of 3 or 4 potential habitable planets that we can just see from here.
Yeah.
So, imagine the rest of the galaxy and universe.
Yeah.
That do, in fact...
I don't think anybody outside of, Neil deGrasse Tyson and his friends really understand, how fucking massive space is. Space is probably is literally the biggest thing out there. Aside from
Space is big.
James Wood's penis, obviously.
Speaking of stars... Rory, did you see the Oscars?
I did, Andrew.
Jesus Christ!
Actually,
What are you
yes.
talking about? There's no stars in the Oscars
I watch
anymore.
the Oscars every year because I have bets on it. I have money on it.
Yeah.
Did you win?
I did not. I
Like
lost a
actual-
very closely contested contest. I predicted 19 out of 24 correctly.
Wow, good for you.
My competitor picked 20 out of 24.
Who was your competitor?
Devin.
Oh,
What are you
Jesus Christ,
picking
I guess you
stuff
just
for?
suck.
It was. I was very disappointed. There were a couple areas where I thought I was going to beat him and I didn't, and there were a couple areas.
Did any of you get Best Picture?
We both mispredicted Best Picture, of course, because
Do you think it was going to be Lady Bird?
Best
or
Picture
something?
would be a risk. No, we the three Billboards was the huge front runner, right in the odds.
Oh, I had never heard of that before it being nominated.
Oh, it's good. It's got Sam Rockwell and Woody Harrelson.
That guy that was an Iron Man, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. The guy who was an Iron Man, Sam Rockwell.
He was.
Well, yeah, but it's like one of the greatest character actors of our time. And we've got him.
He was okay.
He was an Iron Man though.
Yeah, that's
He
true.
wasn't that great an
I
Iron
guess
Man.
no one watched
right?
Moon around here.
I saw Moon. That was him, wasn't
Who
it?
did he play in
Yes.
Iron Man again?
He was Justin Hammer.
He was some weird lawyer
Oh,
guy.
yeah.
He was the villain in 2. Well, one of the villains.
One of the villains in 2, yeah.
He was a
How
villain?
quickly you forget there were two villains.
He sucked ass in that.
Everything sucked ass in that. But anyways,
Don Cheadle was good.
Don Cheadle was good.
He
Shut
was
your
better
mouth.
than Teriology or whatever what he was.
Oh man. Anyways,
He quit Iron Man to work on his 2
so the
plus 2 equals 2.
picks.
or
I mean, the picks given
You
what
fucking skipped one, but alright. Go on.
XKCD?
No. Game night. Well, I'll talk about that after.
You skipped that, actually.
Yeah, you totally did skip that.
No, I didn't. We went from Switch, and then you went,
No,
KCD.
then you mentioned steamed hams.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, you
I
did.
did not mention Steam Ham.
You absolutely did.
No, I didn't.
Aaron, roll it back.
You mentioned Steve
You know you're gonna be
Hams,
wrong
and-
when he rolls that back, right? But
I can get
what-
steamed hams.
to temper the thing on Tekken 7 being able to have eye patches.
He said steamed ham.
He did not.
I said
Guarantee you.
I said steamed hams when we were talking about something else.
Yeah.
Anyways,
And then you went on to
Okay,
XKCD or whatever.
Yeah.
so the actual picks and nominees were not half bad at all. I was actually pretty pleased overall. The show itself had a bit to be desired. Jimmy Kimmel was hosting. He's a good job. He's
Oh, he
fine.
hosted the Oscars?
Did you hear what
Yeah.
Trump said about it?
The second
What
time
did
in a row.
Trump say about it?
Trump
Yes,
said
I did actually hear.
Trump said, I think it was something akin to the reason that this Oscars has the lowest rated is because there's no stars left in Hollywood. Aside from me, ha ha ha, I'm kidding, of course.
Trump, of course, has no idea. No one, he shouldn't be tweeting about entertainment. He just doesn't understand the industry. For the record,
tweeting.
the declining... The fact that this is the lowest rated Oscars ever, it wasn't like they were up and down. They've been steadily declining.
Yeah.
And the reason is at least partially the fact that it's on ABC, it's on a Sunday night, It's on late. Like, it's just not a conducive time. It's just not a good slot. If you put a TV show there, unless you're fucking 60 Minutes, you wouldn't expect anybody to watch the damn thing.
Yeah.
The
Better not be distant 60 Minutes.
Oh, I like 60... But my point is, like, people are going to watch 60 Minutes. You can put it on any fucking time of the day, any fucking day of the week. But, the show itself, especially the musical performances, had a lot to be desired. I was texting Devin during the show, and each time someone came on the stage, I was like, is it just me, or can this person not sing? Like, the dude with the guitar...
Yeah, you sent... Was it you that sent me
the video, yeah.
That was awful.
Was
that real?
That was real. That was at the Oscars. There was one guy playing the guitar who Aaron said looked like Sean
What is this, E8? Is this E3?
Yeah, really, though.
E3.
And,
oh, my God.
And,
Where's Pele coming
All right, and up next, we're going to talk about Best Picture, and here's a new Porsche! Now get Michael Jordan up here to talk awkwardly for a minute, and then get fucking Post Malone to do a bit.
But the good news is, like I said, the actual picks were good. Shape of Water won Best Picture, and Guillermo del Toro won Best Director. Well earned.
Yes.
A fine pick. All the nominees for Best Picture, the ones I saw, I didn't get a chance to go see Darkest Hour because I don't like that kind of movie. And I didn't get a chance...
Gary Oldman does a good job in that.
I have no doubt. He's a terrific actor.
Yep.
He's always been good, too.
what?
Darkest Hour. I didn't get a chance to see it.
Oh, I thought it was just called Churchill.
No, there is another movie called Churchill.
Isn't that about Churchill, though?
Yes.
Yeah, there's like a bazillion movies about Churchill.
Oh, my God.
And there was another one that...
Is he also in that? That'd be amazing.
We just keep him in the same makeup.
But there are a lot of good
he's
movies.
the MCU Churchill. He's Churchill and everything.
Three Billboards is a good movie. A perfectly fine
What's it
movie.
about?
It's about this woman whose daughter is killed.
Yeah.
And she thinks the police aren't doing anything about it, so she puts up these billboards complaining about it.
It's not a true story, isn't it?
I heard that as well.
They need to have a
I didn't
shorter
look
title.
into its validity though. Get Out obviously was my number one movie of the year. Obviously,
Like three billboards printed at Kinko's for $87.50 outside
Was it
Memphis,
nominated for
Missouri,
Best
United
Picture?
States.
What? Get Out?
Yeah.
Get Out was a nominee. Dunkirk, also quite like that, was a nominee. Lady Bird, quite like that a lot, was a nominee.
I was surprised Lady Bird didn't win because I thought that was kind of the critical darling.
A lot of critics really did enjoy it, but
Jordan Peele won an Oscar, right? For
yes, he did. That would be best original screenplay.
There you go.
Best adapted screenplay went to Call Me by Your Name.
Call Me by Your Name.
Lots of good movies were nominated, and lots of great movies won. There were some speeches which were apparently I can't remember. These three guys went up, and one of them was wearing like this super whack suit, and like he had like a short sleeve button up under it, and I was like, and he was like wearing sunglasses or some shit. I was like, what
Sounds
is
like
this
a
guy?
cool dude.
Apparently, I think I found out after he was actually Canadian.
Oh.
And I was
Canadians
like,
can be assholes.
Spoiler
alert.
But yeah, so the real highlight to me is The Shape of Water winning, because I think it's a really good pick, and I think Del Toro totally deserved a Best Director. He's a really good director. Like, there's just no way around it. He's a great filmmaker.
Hopefully he gets to make that Mountains of Madness movie.
Yes.
Eventually.
Yeah.
Eventually.
Although I would still prefer him to make adapt a different Lovecraft story. Mountains of Madness is a good one to pick.
What else we got?
Hey, you know what didn't win an Oscar?
Star
Lots
Wars.
of things.
Game Night.
Oh, God damn it.
Game Night did not win an Oscar. Adam, tell us about Game Night, which you saw.
Well, the reason that Game Night didn't win an Oscar is it came out this year after Oscar season. But
why won't Game Night win an Oscar next year?
What the hell is Game Night
It's not
also?
that good. It's not an Oscar movie. I don't know, like, you know, it'd be like saying, like, why didn't Transformers 5 win an Why didn't Star Wars win an Oscar? Well, you know. So the Game Night is a comedy movie starring Rachel McAdams and
Jason Bateman.
Thank you. I can never remember his name because he's very
Dumbass
bland.
space always crashing.
Not that he's a bland actor, but he always plays bland characters. You know, like the kind of
I'm with you.
Not bland characters, everyman. That's what I meant. And the game is about the movie is about these two people are at a trivia like a pub trivia thing. They meet, they fall in love, they're super into games, and they end up having this game group, and the main character's brother, who's played by I forget his name. We're gonna play the main character's brother. Anyway,
Haven't seen it.
he ends up saying, "Oh, instead of just playing like Game of Life and like like Pictionary and that kind of stuff, why don't we do something a bit more serious?" There's this company in New York that like stages. It's almost like a murder mystery, except they come in with real actors and they'll pretend to kidnap me, and then the person who wins, like you have to follow all the clues. It's kind of like an in-home escape room kind of thing, and you're like, oh, okay, that's cool. And then the brother is actually kidnapped by actual kidnappers, like not actors, like he's literally kidnapped. So they have to go around and try and like rescue the brother. It sounds stupid.
Yep.
Yeah.
I will. I'm not really giving it justice. I'm doing a terrible job explaining it. Watching a trailer will convince you. This movie is definitely not for everyone. Rory, I don't think will like it at all.
So is it a comedy or is it a horror movie?
It's a comedy. It's very much a comedy, but it's not a quotable comedy. It's not like.
So it's not funny.
No, it's not that. It's not that. There's just not a lot of like.
We should do a segment called Quotable Comedies every week where.
Well, I mean, there's no like.
This requires a lot of work on your part, but you have to watch a new comedy movie every week.
I'm not doing that.
Just Adam.
No one else will have seen it, and we're just like.
And you have to say at the end whether or not it's a quotable comedy.
Well, what I mean by quotable comedy movie is not like
There's a
So
lot of
much
comedies.
work for
Super
nothing.
bad. I quote Super bad every day. in my
yeah,
life, so-
it's not one of those. But it's for what it is. I don't regret spending money on it. It was a funny movie. It had a lot. There was a lot of really funny parts. The jokes were all right.
You spend money on it?
My God, Aaron, yes, I went to the movie theater.
It's an actual. Okay, I thought it was like a.
Straight to DVD.
Yeah, like it's on
A
YouTube.
YouTube short film.
Yeah.
It's there.
You tell me this wasn't Smosh or whatever those two guys were called.
Yeah.
It's good. It's a good comedy. I think one of my favorite aspects about it is it doesn't rely on it doesn't fall on the hangover tropes of like this is just people in like not like they're in an absurd situation, but you know how like over the fucking top fucking hangover movies are in their humor, and it's very much like I don't even know how to describe it. It's that form of very like kind of almost like we're trying to. It's almost shock humor in a way. Very little of this movie is shock humor.
That's good,
and I like that. It's very refreshing. Genuinely, like if you're looking for a funny movie to go see, like on a date night or something, I would recommend going to see it. Thomas, Ari would love it if you haven't gone to see it already. I would also, if it comes out on Netflix or something, I would recommend you watch it. It's definitely worth a couple hours of your time. I would also recommend going to see it in theaters, but I know very few people probably will. So, but it's there. It's a good movie. I recommend it. Not one of my top picks of the year, obviously, but I don't regret seeing it. It's good. It's nice to see a comedy that actually does make me.
That's a good
wanna kill
sell.
myself.
I don't regret seeing it.
Well,
I wish Jordan had seen it so he can sit here and try to convince me it's a 10.
Well, what I mean is it seems lately every time I go to see a comedy movie, I come out of the theater being like, man, I want to fucking kill myself.
Yeah, fair enough. Comedies are
Stop
not
seeing
comedy.
them.
Yeah, stop going to see comedies.
Comedy movies are not funny these days.
No, they're not. They're awful.
Marvel movies are funnier.
Yes.
Yeah, actually. What else we got?
So Bethesda's opening up a new studio in Austin, I believe.
Yes.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's sort of. It was a really weird.
Yeah.
It was a. As I understand it, it's just Battlecry is in Austin, and Battlecry is owned by ZeniMax, and now they're just merging with Bethesda Game Studios.
Wait, is Battlecry still a thing?
Yeah.
Battlecry Studio is not the
What are you
game.
saying? That's
Oh.
so weird.
Oh.
Yeah.
Battlecry Studios.
I don't think anybody's still playing that.
No, yeah, not Battlecry the game.
Yeah.
I'm talking about Battlecry Studios.
Did that even come out?
Wasn't it a MOBA or something?
Yeah.
I think it got shut down.
Yeah,
probably.
pretty sure.
But yeah, so as I understand, Battlecry Studios is in Austin.
Jesus.
They're owned by ZeniMax, which is the same company that owns Bethesda and every other goddamn thing.
Yeah.
And they're just like kind of like becoming a Bethesda Game Studios place now. So they were already in the family.
So they can make other MOBAs that get shut down in a year.
The the mobile market is not something you want to try to break into. At all.
Yeah, because they're shitty games.
Unless you're really passionate about MOBAs, you want to make like the best ever. Like you want to improve upon MOBAs, but I feel like most companies that come into MOBAs or MMOs, they're just doing it because look at all the money World of Warcraft's making.
Also, like
but that's not
League
a
of
MOBA.
Legends, which is made by Riot. Riot are some of the strongest developers in the industry at doing what they do.
Yeah.
Competing with them is a really shitty idea.
It's similar to Blizzard and World of Warcraft. Like what there's a reason that World of Warcraft is so successful. You know, Blizzard is constantly supporting
Again,
this
not a
fucking
MOBA.
thing.
He was saying MOBAs and MMOs. He had said
okay.
that at one point, that he was incorporating both
Fair
of them.
enough.
It's a good point for both of them. And yeah, Riot's development procedures they're so strong. I know a bit about them because they were relevant when I was doing like literature search for like my own research. And like they're really a top level developer, and I wouldn't go near them. Plus they have a giant ass esports division as well, which is not to be fucked with at all.
Right.
What else we got?
Well, I mean, first up, well, I guess before we move on, I should say, them having 3 studios now, Montreal,
Rockville, Maryland,
and
now Austin, Texas.
It gives me hope that this might mean faster turnaround times for games like Elder Scrolls and Fallout, but the more cynical or rational side of me is seeing this as, they're just going to be making, multiplayer cash grabs.
Interesting. What will happen when they make that studio? Job ads will go up because ZeniMax posts their job ads. And that will give us a better idea of what they're doing, what kind of people they're looking for. So if they're looking for a fuck ton of like multiplayer network engineers, you might be right. And if they're looking for quest designers, then we'll know that they're writing, because that's what Bethesda calls their writing positions, quest designer. We'll know that they're looking for writers. That's an interesting point, though.
Hey, Adam. Do you think Ready Player One is going to suck?
Well, no, because the book is quite good, and I'm excited to see this movie. However,
I should say the movie. Do you think the movie Ready Player One is going to suck?
Maybe. I don't know. It's one of the things where like it could work because Marvel's shown that you can have these kind of ensemble mega movies that work, but at the same time, this is like a new property, so it's interesting to see. I can tell you somebody who's not super faithful in it, and that's the studio who fucking made it, which is Warner Brothers. They are I think according to what I'm reading here in the Fortune, they're expecting low returns on this on this movie, and the problem with it is I think they were expecting it to make like something like $50 million in order to break even, and they don't think it's going to do that on its opening weekend. So they're pushing the opening day from Friday to Thursday to give it a longer opening weekend.
Movies always
ramp
open on
up
Thursday?
their advertisement for the movie beforehand to try and drum up more people, but they're really not expecting this movie to trend.
So does that actually mean it comes out on Wednesday?
Yes, Aaron is right. Friday release dates mean Thursday night. Thursday release dates mean Wednesday night.
Yes,
that is correct.
So they're hoping.
Riddick, I believe, was a Thursday release night in 2013.
Yeah, and Riddick was
so dumb.
really good. Well, I don't think it performed well. So I think Warner Brothers is for some reason expecting low performance from this movie.
I mean, they probably should be expecting that. The movie is going to absolutely bomb.
Do you guys want to go see it?
Yeah,
I guess so.
Yeah, we'll totally see it.
But everything about it screams
terrible.
Oh God, no! Why are you putting money into this?
There's like a reality to like the way we watch movies. Like the fact of the matter is like we're going to see stuff we expect bad things from to see if it turns out to be bad, and a lot of people aren't. Yeah. They're gonna get our money, more times than they're gonna get,
my dad's
some
money.
regular Adam's dad's money.
Why you don't go see it 50 times, Adam's dad?
He doesn't watch this show.
Okay. Oh, I didn't expect he did.
I'm just kind of prefacing Aaron's, cutting off his argument there.
Fortnite.
That was my entire argument.
Yeah,
Fortnite? Did I post something on the topic about this? Yes, I did. The topic list today brought to you by me and Adam.
Powered by Mud Nuggets.
So Fortnite is getting...
We need to get more views so we can start making shirts.
Fortnite is getting a mobile game, but this is very interesting. It has cross-play, the mobile game, with PC and PS4. But Rory, you say, how the fuck am I playing on my iPhone going to compete with someone with a mouse and keyboard? You're not. You can't.
But Rory.
Why? What?
What if it's like really cheap aim assist?
Well, then that breaks the game, doesn't it?
Then that breaks the game.
Why is Fortnite on an iPhone?
That's bananas. But there's one thing about this.
Look at how hot the couch gets with 3 of us sitting on it.
There's one thing
also,
about this that might
I installed a heater on the inside of it.
Fortnite is made by Epic Games, and they are really, really, really skilled and very talented
at making iPhone games.
Well, it's a dark planet.
And if anyone, but I mean, from a technical perspective, that is a very strong company. And if anyone can somehow get this to work, first of all, how they manage, they have a deal with Sony to get the PS4 crossplay. Yeah. What kind of fucking black magic they had to work to get a crossplay deal with Sony, which we know is really hard to do.
Yeah, on anything for that matter.
Exactly.
Never mind a fucking iPhone.
They wouldn't even do it with Minecraft.
They wouldn't even do it with Minecraft.
Which is the best-selling game ever.
So now they're going to have a crossplay with the PS4, PC,
that's a video game,
the mobile market. The Xbox isn't part of the deal. So they're sort of having a reverse thing now, where it's like, now they're going to make this deal. But this is pretty funny. And very tragic, and it seems super useless and weird. I'm not sure if it's going to work, but regardless of whether it works, it seems stupid. What else we got?
Well, the thing about it is, like, I mean...
and that's
because PUBG has crossplay on Xbox and PC, correct?
That's right? I don't know.
And from
what I know is it's on Xbox, and I think it runs at like 2 or 3 frames a second.
Yeah, it's not great, and people were saying, like, people who are playing on PC are going to have a bigger advantage because you're going to be at 60 frames as opposed to 30 frames. It helps with aiming. So what is it going to be on phone for that? Just that alone. Forget the controls. Talk about the frame rate.
Forget
my phone cannot run... PUBG or Fortnite at 60 frames a second. It can't. Unless you're talking about, like, PS1 graphics.
Yeah. And
even then, probably not.
I don't know if cross-platform does work with PUBG, but your point is extremely valid.
Your point is 100%. That's the only point to make.
I feel like it's a thing, but maybe it's not.
My boy's back.
Hey!
No mic.
No mic.
Well, you're not reading it.
I'm trying to see. Hey,
wrap this up already.
Andrew, are you excited for God of War?
I'm running out of shit to look at.
Oh
space.
shit, this,
Can you go? Can you look at Pillars
yes,
of Eternity?
Andrew, I am.
Pillars of Creation, sorry.
Yes.
Are you excited for having to pay lots of money for cosmetic items in God of War?
Well, thankfully, Andrew, I won't have to pay lots of money because the God of War...
Where'd the rest of them go?
Dude was...
This is a penis.
They asked the God of War guy if there was going to be microtransactions, and he was like, "Hell no."
You mean Kratos?
No. Well, he really doesn't like microtransactions. He killed the god of microtransactions in God of War 3.
He killed Michael Transactions.
Yeah, exactly.
Take that, Michael.
I like the idea of somebody going up the Kratos and being like, "Is there going to be a microtransaction game?" He just kills them like.
He walked right up to the EA CEO and just murdered his ass.
And just like Horizon Zero Dawn, it is the same thing.
Exactly. So this is, to me, it's like, what I like about Horizon Zero Dawn and God of War is that there
are no microtransactions.
Well, okay, there are no microtransactions, but
no Michaels to be found.
More importantly than that, when there's indie games with no microtransactions, well, the first thing you hear from a AAA developer, it's practically written on their fucking shirts, is that doesn't cost any money to make. Horizon Zero Dawn was crazy expensive. God of War is crazy expensive. And they're single-player games, the both of them, right? So there's no arguments for continuing support that can be made. Hello, Monster Hunter. They're just like, just solid single-player games, and they're like, yeah, we're confident. We sell it at the price tag. People buy it. No microtransactions. No problem.
I
and
hope
then EA is like, how do you know that'll work? It's like, well, because
It's
Because
tried and
always
true.
worked.
It has always worked.
Yeah, this is a thing where... Do you remember a little game called Halo? That came out and had no microtransactions in it, and it sold gangbusters. It sold the fucking system.
Yeah, but back then, people bought games. Now, devil's advocate here, free-to-play wasn't a thing back then.
Time to get into this argument.
But to be fair, like Horizon Zero Dawn, I don't think people made a big enough a deal about how there was no microtransactions in that game.
No.
Yeah, I know. I kept bringing it up, but it was never a thing. It
I
seems
think
like.
if
It's like the
came
best
out-
looking game on that damn console.
I don't know
I
why
think
Aaron
if
didn't
it-
bring it up.
If it came out post Battlefront
Who
2,
knows
I think
that?
it would have been a bigger deal.
I agree. I think when it came out,
It was pertinent, though, around that time, because the DLC came out for it, and it's like, here's another big-ass 30-hour DLC
a
for
legit
$20.
expansion, an
But
old school
I
expansion.
think most people had moved on from Horizon at that point.
I guess.
such a good,
Because Legend of Zelda had come out.
such an incredibly positive example to other industry people on how. Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt that cost of games is increasing. Though I will say the numbers are affected largely by the increased cost of marketing
Yeah.
that people are spending. A lot of the numbers are available out there publicly. But it's great that people are still doing this. But although I think God of War isn't as good an example as Horizon Zero Dawn, because people could make the argument, well, everybody's going to buy fucking God of War. You couldn't make the example with Horizon Zero Dawn. It's a new thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's fair.
Yeah, it was a new... Yeah.
Whereas with God of War, the AAA developers can get a new shirt that says, well, everyone was going to buy God of War.
I hope Sony never stops doing what they're doing right now with these single-player games.
Although, can you fix your chat?
Sure.
PlayStation chat is dog shit, and you should be
fix
you should
what
it's
needs to
bad,
be
you should
fixed.
feel
Yeah,
bad.
that's right.
Also, can you take the light out of your controller because it drains
Oh
the
my
battery so
God.
fierce?
The,
Also,
All
make the
right,
controllers better.
Sony, please change what you're doing, but not everything.
yeah, change your
Change the
peripheral
bad stuff.
things.
Yeah.
Just take the light out of the controller, please.
Speaking
You know,
of
a
stuff
full-size one, because we got that stupid-ass kitty controller with no light in it.
Oh,
Give me a full-size one.
speaking of stuff that's bad for the industry, Steven Spielberg is being kicked. I don't know if he's being kicked.
He's not being kicked.
He's left the project in favor of a different director. My personal favorite, Michael Bay.
So this is interesting. So I'm not Spielberg's biggest fan
By a long shot.
by a long shot.
I thought Lincoln was one of your favorite movies ever made.
Okay, Rory,
Oh,
but
God,
I
I'm
want you to
getting
compare the
flashbacks.
quality of Lincoln in comparison to the quality of Transformers 4. And
But I would tell you this. The reason Michael Bay is directing Transformers is because Steven Spielberg picked him. That's the only reason.
What
He's
movie are we talking about here?
what's it fucking called?
Robopocalypse.
Robopocalypse. That's the one.
That's the actual name?
Yeah, it's been in development for 10,000 years. Drew Goddard wrote the original screenplay and had
Drew Goddard.
Yeah, I love Drew Goddard.
I thought
He's-
you were just making up a name to put on the topic list.
No, Drew Goddard, who's the fucking man, by the way.
Oh
We
my
don't give him enough
God.
credit on this
What
show.
a stupid
or any
fucking
show.
name.
I would like to say Robocalypse is a better.
Robot.
Robocalypse, I like that.
Robot-
Take
Robo-
Robocalypse for
Robocalypse.
things.
Robocalypse will be the Asylum Films version.
Robocalypse sounds like the name of like the Chinese knockoff that you get at Blockbuster that comes out.
You mean
with
like it was supposed to be RoboCop, but it's not quite RoboCop?
Yeah.
It's got Red Brown or some shit.
No.
in it.
That's
Hey.
That's Robocalypse.
So
We're gonna have to cut that.
Nah, that's fine.
No, don't even do it. Don't even do it.
So Spielberg stepping aside and Michael Bay's. I imagine Spielberg picked him. I think that is how it went. Spielberg said, "Okay, Michael Bay, you take this over." Can anyone fucking?
But Gareth Edwards is a director, and he lives, and he's currently.
Yeah, but he's not bros with Spielberg. You got to be bros with Spielberg, apparently. Can anyone?
Somebody did.
My preface at the beginning of this, saying I'm not Spielberg's biggest fan, is a preface to saying he makes good movies. Mm-hmm. There's no way around it, right? He's not my favorite director. I think he makes a lot of mistakes. But that's for me at least. But like, he's better than fucking Michael Bay, right? Like,
yeah.
That's not. Does anyone disagree with that anywhere? Even Michael? Like, Michael Bay probably is like, yeah. This is credit Spielberg.
What's the best Michael Bay film ever? It's
The Rock.
The Rock.
The Rock for
okay,
sure.
I was gonna say that it's either The Rock or Transformers 1 or.
It's not Transformers 1.
I'm just talking about in terms of popularity and just being generally because I mean, same way with Transformers 1, it was
It's
genuinely
the best
well
Transformers movie,
Yeah.
and it's not bad for the kind of movie it is.
All right, you say you take The Rock, compare that to Spielberg's best work, which I would say is Jurassic Park.
I think you can make a case for Jurassic Park. You can make a pretty compelling case for Schindler's List.
Oh yeah,
Or Lincoln. Yeah.
so either Jurassic Park or or Schindler's List, and that's not a sentence here very often.
Yeah, it depends upon what kind of movie fan you are,
Yeah.
right?
All right, we're at a party. The choices of movies are Jurassic Park or it's either Jurassic Park or Schindler's List.
You guys know this story, but I have never mentioned it here. My cousin was on a date with this guy. They were at his house, right? And they were gonna watch a movie, and he was like, "Well, I have Schindler's List," and she was like, "Jesus fuck, like that's kind of a heavy movie, don't you think?" And he was like, "Not really. Why?"
Have you seen the movie?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know what was up with this fucking dude. But
That's the only live action movie I cry in.
that's fair, I think.
I cry more in animated movies than I do in live action movies.
Sometimes, like, that movie is a sad movie,
Yes.
and it's also too long. And so it's like double effect. It's like, obviously
Yeah.
the content is like horrible and makes you want to cry, and then, but at the
Then
same
you wanna
time in the
keep
back of your
crying.
head, you're like, where's the editor? Where's
Yeah.
the editor?
You want to keep
The,
crying because you realize you're spending way too much time watching a movie.
Who played the commander of the
Ray
Ray Fiennes.
Ray
Iron
Fiennes,
Man.
right, he did a great
He's
job.
amazing. That Emma Goth is like one of my favorite villain performances in film.
Yeah.
So
But
I give credit to Spielberg where credit is due.
yeah, like what we're trying to say is Spielberg's best is nowhere near like Michael Bay's best is nowhere near as close to Spielberg.
Yeah, I think.
What about
yeah.
Indiana Jones? And
Jurassic Park is still better, in my opinion.
Really?
Yes. Look who you're talking to.
Okay, that's fair.
I mean, a lot of that is personal bias, but I
You
also
gotta
think
think for dinosaurs.
yeah, but I also think that genuinely Jurassic Park is just a great. I mean, not this.
He would
Indiana
put
Jones,
his
oh, it's
dick
great
on
movie,
a
but, like,
Tyrannosaurus Rex skeleton if no one was looking.
what?
You heard me.
I didn't. I actually. Can you repeat?
I said you'd put your dick on a whatever the hell T-Rex skeleton when no one was looking.
I actually wouldn't because I wouldn't want to damage the fossil.
That's respect, right
Jurassic
there.
Park versus Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Come on.
He doesn't even like Jurassic Park. Why are you asking him?
You don't like it.
Raiders.
Aaron, Jurassic Park versus Raiders of the Lost Ark.
I don't know if I saw Raiders.
To be fair, I'm
What?
also not.
What? Hold the fucking phone.
Aaron, it's been on TV for the last 75 years. How are you not
I don't
still coming on
It's a
right
good
now?
movie.
we have to stop the
I don't watch
podcast.
television.
Go watch Raiders.
I don't watch television.
And to be fair, also, I'm not a huge Indiana Jones guy, but that's a good movie. There's no
What
doubt about
one's
that.
Raiders? Is that the one
It's
with
the
the
first
cup?
one.
What's the one with the cup and the dude melts in the invisible bridge?
That's the Last Crusade.
Okay, I saw that
Raiders
one.
is the Ark of the Covenant.
And so is that the one where the dude pulls out the scimitar and he shoots
No,
him?
it's
Yes.
the one where the Germans melt.
Well, it is
At the
also the
end.
one with the scimitar.
All right,
Yeah,
let's.
I might have seen it. I don't fucking know.
Well, we're gonna have to watch
I
it
can't
again.
But
remember.
God.
Watch it.
Yeah.
like, yeah, Michael Bay. Also, is
Really
Michael?
don't care.
I don't know what Robopocalypse is about. I don't know what Drew
Let's
Goddard's
look it up.
up to. Can
Robocalypse.
someone? I don't know if anyone's seen the script, to be honest. Even though it's been around for 10,000 years.
I would assume it's about the apocalypse and
There's
robots.
robots.
Oh, it's
Why
it's
is
a
Michael
prequel
Bay
to
even another robot
it's a
movie?
prequel to Horizon.
I'm gonna go see this movie. I'm not gonna be able to hear anything. It's gonna be terrible. Oh my god! Like I really do think that Mark Kermode said the ultimate thing that was to be said about Michael Bay when he said if he wasn't directing big budget like feature Hollywood films, he would be directing porn. Because that is exact. It's 100% accurate.
Can
Because that's the
I
way
watch-
he shoots everything.
I want to watch a Michael Bay porno.
The
It's gonna be awful.
the sound mixing is gonna be terrible.
Optimus!
Coctimus.
Optimus.
Massive explosion.
Anyways, I'm freaking out right now. What's the next topic?
And then a
I'm
slow-mo
just-
comes
That's funny.
out.
The only other stuff is that Black Mirror got renewed for season 5, which good for
Yeah.
them.
Bro,
And Jessica
whoa,
Alba.
so slow down.
Well, we're an hour and a half, Rory. We gotta clue up. I just want to, before we get into that, just very quickly, Jessica Alba is to star in Bad Boy spin-off
I like
series.
that this
Speaking of Michael
podcast,
Bay.
this podcast is regularly becoming an hour and a half long now because Rory thought at one point it was supposed to be an hour and a half.
It was the first podcast was an hour and a half. We used to do an hour-long show and a half-hour after
Yeah, but
show.
we did the extra half an hour for YouTube so we could swear about stuff. That was it.
Yeah, well, that's what we keep doing that. It's a tradition, man, tradition. So Black Mirror, who here watches it? I know I watch it. I know Andrew watches it. Who else watches it?
I thought about watching it until you told me Bryce Dallas Howard wasn't in it regularly. So now I'm not watching
Okay,
it.
Adam should watch at least one episode of it because there's one brilliant episode that Adam's gonna love.
Is it the one where he fucks a pig?
No,
That one's a good episode.
that is a good episode.
I've seen parts of that one. It's on my list. I've been meaning to watch it.
Why do you see parts of things?
Because I watch a lot of YouTube compilations and stuff.
That would absolutely ruin everything for me.
To be fair, this one was I was looking at
Stop going to this friggin'
people
rock.
were talking about Black Mirror. I was like, oh, let's see, and I looked up like top 10 moments in Black Mirror. I'm like, oh, this is good.
Such a shitty idea. You're guaranteed to get spoilers. It's like top 10 big twists that no one saw.
Rory, I don't care about spoilers anymore. For most
Yeah, but it
things.
ruins stuff. Like if you're watching a show and you're like, oh, I saw that bit. Yeah, whatever. I don't care. That show was stupid. It's like, yeah, because you spoiled it for yourself because on YouTube.
Oh, I'm glad we finally come to this revelation. Adam watches TV wrong. That's a stop
right.
the press is having
we
fucking
do-
insight in this show.
We do harp on this quite a lot, both on the show and in our real
But
lives.
that negates your opinions of shows now.
Listen, unless they're in medieval fantasy world singing and dancing,
Fuck
I don't
off
give
with
a
Gallivant.
fuck.
Fuck off with Gallivant.
No,
Don't worry,
Gallivant
the
is
world fucked off with Gallivant.
The one show Adam never ruined him for himself on YouTube with fucking Gallivant.
He couldn't because nobody bothered.
There was no YouTube videos
Exactly.
of it.
Yeah, top 10 moments in Gallivant is like,
Zero
did you mean
results.
Smosh paints a car or some shit? Hold on though. But there's one episode of Black Mirror that Adam would love because it's a Star Trek homage, and it's super fucking good. And it's season 4, episode 1. Adam, I'll send you the thing for it. Please don't look up any spoilers for it. It's a really good episode. So Jessica Alba's gonna star
Fuck is this?
in a. Oh wow! Okay, yeah.
Best of
I'll give you
Gallivant.
that. Adam's
Yeah, but
YouTube channel over
it
here.
stops
Subscribe
3
when you get a
videos
minute.
down.
Yeah.
Jessica Alba's gonna star in this Bad Boys spin-off. So anybody remember
What?
Bad Boys?
Hang on, now there's a spin-off?
Yes.
So is it called Bad Girls?
Oh, please,
I don't know
no.
what it's called.
Maybe this is the Michael Bay porno.
So who here has watched Bad Boys?
I'm pretty
The
sure
old
I'm not
Bad
supposed
Boys
to be able to
movies,
see
right?
this.
Everybody, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think everybody who was born before
was either that or,
1996 saw that, right?
What was the... I don't know, I can't even make the joke because I forgot the
The,
name of the movie. Indiana Jones Ark Crusader or something. Anyway, go ahead.
So apparently,
Not often, but sometimes your words are literal cancer.
So- I believe this is actually a series.
One day I'll kill you.
That they're
Oh.
I believe it's a spin-off series, which, if true, if my memory is correct, this is the first time I can remember Jessica Alba being on a TV show since Dark Angel, which is a great fucking show, by
This
the
is
way.
the first thing I remember Jessica Alba in since Sin City.
Oh, I would
So-
say since
She's in
Fantastic
City?
Four.
She was, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. She was great in Sin City. Jessica Alba is actually terrifically talented, and she doesn't get enough credit. And
She needs to fire her agent.
the
Nah, man.
She doesn't
I
get
love
enough
when
roles.
I love
She
when
doesn't
she
get
was in
enough
that
roles.
box and this dude tried to kiss her and she wouldn't do it.
the
That was awful.
Dark Angel was the first TV show. That was the first TV project I think James Cameron started. Which, hey, maybe do one of those again instead of fucking Avatar 6.
He's spending the rest of his life, mate. The rest of those aren't even coming out.
Avatar would not fly if it was a video game.
It was, and it was garbage, so you're right.
Well, yeah, but I mean, it's it looks great, but there's nothing else to it. We'd complain if it was a video game. And, it just, I hate Avatar.
Avatar is the destiny of movies.
Yeah, I was thinking that. Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking.
Also, it doesn't hold up. It came, I remember that being, the biggest fucking CG, amazing 3D film when it came out. And you watch it a couple years later, you're like, this looks awful.
It's a tech demo.
I remember Avatar was the first 3D movie I watched in theaters.
To be fair, it's one of the only movies made better by 3D because
Yeah.
it's so unrelentingly shit if you watch it in 2D.
Yeah. Well, it was made with 3D in mind. It's like, let's have all these super depth of field shots.
Yeah, I remember that the speck of dust at the very beginning.
Yeah, it was like a little droplet floating.
Yeah,
and you're
that
like,
was
oh my god!
That was
Yeah.
really cool way back then.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Yeah, I was like, what was that, 2007?
2009, I think.
9? 2009? I'm like 15 at the time.
Robo-Apocalypse, apparently based on a book.
Yeah, it's based on a book.
Yeah.
It looks really interesting.
Oh, is it
I would not be
Robo-Apocalypse?
giving this project to Michael Bay.
Yeah.
He cannot handle this.
I
They
feel
should've
like
went
giving
with
something
Robo-Apocalypse.
interesting to Michael Bay is just
like there seems to be a bit of thought into this plot. I wouldn't necessarily give this to Michael Bay. I wouldn't give this to Michael Bay.
Don't give anything to Michael Bay. It doesn't have Kevin James in it. We gotta give him some Kevin James movies.
Paul Blart 3.
Two birds.
Directed by Michael Bay.
2 birds, 1 stone. We
Oh,
take care of Kevin James and we take care of Michael
Let's
Bay
get,
in the one fell swoop.
We need to get fucking Kevin James' next Transformers movie.
Oh my god!
It's like Mackie Mac's sidekick. Or
No,
something.
he plays the part of, he plays the same character
as Mark Wahlberg.
as
No
Mark
one will
Wahlberg.
notice the best continuity switch ever. Mark Wahlberg to fucking Kevin
Actually,
James.
they could cross over because was it Maul Blart or whatever?
Paul
his name-
Blart Mall Cop.
Sometimes your words are cancer.
I don't know. His segue is actually Transformer.
Oh my god.
Mall Blart sounds like a headline in the Telegram. Like when something went wrong at the mall, they think they're being clever on a fucking front page. Mall Blart.
They're referencing like a 10-year-old movie nobody saw anyway.
Nobody gets it.
Yeah, it's
Nobody
only-
understands the reference at all.
That's-
But the editor is like super.
We should point out that the Telegram is our local failing paper. That's the nail in the coffin for the Telegram. That's what kills it.
Mal Blart.
And we're closed! Everyone pack up, clear your desks by the end of the day.
The last newspaper headline, the front page, framed on the wall, Mal Blart. Oh man.
Anyway, we should
A
probably
stupid
end.
thing. Yeah.
This is Mars.
No. This is a desert somewhere.
How accurate
Jesus.
is the terrain on Earth?
It's. I mean, you can't really. I don't know. We'll go to it. You can't really get super ground level. It's not like.
You mean it's not Google Earth?
Yeah, it's not a Google Earth quality.
Screw this.
They should link up with Google Earth just so at some points it becomes Google Earth.
I just want to mention something real quick.
Oh my God, the fucking frame rate.
So I saw a headline, right? And I read a bit of the story until I was laughing too hard that I couldn't read any further. And it was like, I don't know if you guys know about Huawei, but they're a Chinese company, and they make like phones and like laptops and shit.
Oh,
Right?
Rory.
I thought you were
obviously.
talking about Galway, the new part of St. John's.
No,
being built,
no.
and you were just saying it in a really
Can we just take a minute and to comment on how stupid a name that is for
Yeah.
a fucking town or whatever?
Yes, we can. Because oh my god.
To be fair, it's a subdivision.
But so
Is it a subdivision?
I think so.
I thought they were trying to make another town or city or something.
No, it's part of St. John's.
Oh,
so they make like phones and laptops, and they're getting increasingly popular in non-Chinese countries, which is say countries that are not China, because they're good quality products.
Oh, thanks,
And
Rory.
They're much cheaper than a lot of their competitors, right?
Yeah.
So America, and by America I mean like literally like, you know, significant bodies of America like the FBI and the CIA and whatever the fuck else they have down there, have come out and said, hey guys, you know, we don't want you buying these phones because we're worried that China is going to use them to spy on you. I'm like, unlike the American products that are definitely used to spy on people,
Yeah.
it's exhaustively documented
Rory.
spying. There's fucking movies about it.
Rory, I gotta be honest. I love that idea of being like, you know, you really should be more concerned about which agencies spy on you. Can you make it a little bit easier for the fucking NSA? Is that NSA? Yeah.
Yeah, the NSA is the one. Yeah. I'll take the Chinese maybe spying on me over the Americans definitely spying on me
no,
any fucking day.
They're
of the
definitely
week.
everyone's spying on you. You know who's actually spying on you? Google. Google is the one spying. Google owns you. Google owns us all.
Hey Google.
Hey Google. Oh God, I hate to be the Google employee tasked with watching this over and over again, waiting for some important data. Just to be like, I wonder if anything's going to happen that sets us off, sets off alarm bells. And by Google employee, I of course mean the program that's automatically. I hope they don't have actual human people.
That's what sets robots off, having to watch all of our videos about nothing. Fuck this, kill all humans.
We create Skynet.
Oh man,
Jordan would love that.
Oh Jordan,
it'll be that Tekken video too that throws them off.
Yeah.
I can't watch that video. That video's hilarious.
Yeah, I'm gonna say because you said before that you watch that video all the time.
Oh, I love that video. Yeah,
Pete Hines quality.
But it's just it's so much. I re-feel it every time. I feel being there.
Oh man, look, it's Mass Effect.
We gotta end.
All right, we're ending. We'll be back next week with some more. I won't be here, but
fuck you.
These guys will be. And I'll do the topic list, of course.
Thanks, Roy. Not fuck you anymore.
All right.
Well, I'll talk to you later.
Thanks for joining us on this Pixel Junkies special podcast episode.
Is it special because you're on it?
No.
Oh, okay. We'll see you next time.
Bye.